Following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Welcome into Reaction Monday at Main Street Sports. Today on the program, we've got a lot to react to of the NCAA tournament, the hashtag Road to Omaha. Chris Lee, Southeastern14.com, will join us to talk about that coming up in just a little bit. We'll dive into the SEC teams. A lot of action today as we go through the show, our daily Braves segment. And in the second half, excited to have newly minted women's basketball coach at TREVECCA and former Vanderbilt All-American. That's right. Karen Booker will be joining us as well. So plenty to get to. It is Reaction Monday. And here to react to it all, the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Hey, welcome in. It is a Reaction Monday edition. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint is glad to be with you back after an eventful weekend. No doubt there, an eventful weekend. But, man, what a weekend it was, and glad to have you guys with us. Mo, what's going on? How are you? Haven't asked you in a while.
Sore?
What'd you do to be okay, hold on. All right, story time. What's up?
No, I just umpire.
Umpiring?
Oh, okay.
And I'm not used to umpiring on Sundays. I've been umpiring on Saturdays.
Give yourself
and I'm usually
rest.
over it by today. That was not the case. I only did 2 games.
Still.
But one behind the plate, 12U.
Ooh, which means you gotta really
get down there. Yeah. So.
A lot of leg work out there, huh?
It was. Yes, yesterday was definitely leg day.
It's never easy, that particular part of it, for sure.
At least it was the early game, though.
Well, and it didn't involve grassland, did it?
No grassland. No grassland.
Yeah, we didn't get the little bat signal to show up if that was going to happen. So yeah,
no, all was good. But after you do the play for that first game, and then you're working 2-man crew, then that second game you're straddling the first baseline, but then you're sprinting into the middle of the infield on hits.
I wouldn't know. I've not worked a 2-man umpiring crew in 3 years.
What have you been doing? You work by yourself?
All by myself for the last 3 years.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. All by myself. It's not been fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are they doing that at?
Everywhere in Williamson County for softball.
Wow.
So it is what it is.
So you call from behind the mound?
No, I call from behind the plate and do my best on
plays at second.
In 10U softball, it's very rare that there's a play at second.
What do? You flip flip your clicker?
You just you go with it. Whatever you say, everybody just goes with it. So
that's funny. That's funny.
What a show we have. JP told you about all of it. So let's send it back to JP real quick and give you the weekend results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown. The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy, providing a Christ-centered college prep education at an affordable cost. Call 931-388-5731 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule an appointment for a tour today. All right, here we go. Over the weekend, we had Major League Baseball, and believe it or not, the first sweep of the season for the Braves, 3-1-10, 6-2-11, and 8-7 on Sunday.
10-9.
in 9. So there you go. They get a lot of innings. So the Braves sweep the Rockies, and I think was instrumental in the attire for one Mo Patton today. Yeah, he gets inspired. I love it.
Got to get it in when you can.
That's right. That's right. So the streak has begun. All right. Sounds were in action in Durham. They did pick up a win on Friday after we talked with Jeff Him, but Saturday and Sunday not so much, as Durham wins that series, the first lost series of the season for the Sounds at a hot Durham Bulls team. All right, NHL over the weekend, the Rangers defeated the Lightning in Game 3 of their best-of-7 Eastern Conference Finals, and then the Lightning returned the favor 3-2 in Game 4. In the Western Conference Finals over the weekend, the Avs 4-2 winners over the Oilers. And the Warriors got back at the Celtics last night with an easy 107-88 win. That series tied at 1 game apiece, heads back to Beantown on Wednesday night for Game 3. Big weekend in college baseball. Man, was it fun, and it's still going on now. But over the weekend, the Corvallis region, it was Vanderbilt falling to San Diego in their first game, 3-2, went into the losers bracket, and then took care of business to this point. 21-1 over New Mexico State, 14-4 over San Diego, and then last night, 8-1 over Oregon State. Tennessee was able to win out. It was interesting. Had a late rally last night against Georgia Tech, but they do get the win and the region championship, move on to the Super Regionals. Well, they will face Notre Dame coming up this weekend. Women's College World Series. UCLA 6-1 winners over Northwestern. Arizona defeated Oregon State 3-1. Oklahoma over Texas 7-2, and then 2-0 over Florida. UCLA defeated Florida 8-0. Texas 5-2 winners over Arizona. UCLA 7-3 over Oklahoma. So, Chris, we're in the semifinals tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct.
This evening.
Today,
Yep.
UCLA and Oklahoma are playing now.
They will play an if necessary game right now.
UCLA won that game?
They just won 7-3.
Okay, and then the late game is what?
There's
Oklahoma
a 6 o'clock
State
Oklahoma
and
State, Texas. Yep,
All right.
And Oklahoma State has to lose twice.
that's correct.
Okay.
So you could have an all Oklahoma
Mm.
championship series, not champ series, in Oklahoma City.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
No, it would. Standing room only, as it probably already is. Today's schedule, Vanderbilt in a winner-take-all in the Corvallis region, Oregon State, 3 p.m. Central. It's on the SEC Network. As we just mentioned, UCLA just defeated Oklahoma. That started earlier. So tonight, Oklahoma State and Texas, 6 p.m. That's on ESPN. And then, as you mentioned, if necessary, to follow. NHL tonight, the Western Conference Finals, Game 4, Avs at the Oilers, 7 p.m. TNT. Colorado can sweep out. They lead that series 3-0. That's right. And that is your Monday Rundown, brought to you by Zion Christian. Kevin.
Top story today, the opening kickoff. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the show, but I do want to mention it. The 2023 Hall of Fame ballot for the College Football Hall of Fame has been announced. There are 80 FBS players, 9 FBS/FCS coaches. Some of them coached in both. And a bunch. You could have kept that going. 96 divisional players and 33 divisional coaches, and you still only get to pick 2 coaches from even the divisional. So that's certainly interesting. Think about this, Mo. A couple of MTSU folks that you probably remember. Joe Campbell on the list.
Friend of the show, Joe Campbell.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
And Don Griffin, who played safety in 82 to 85.
Don and I were at MTSU at the same time, went on to a career primarily with the 49ers.
And Charlie Murphy, or Charles Murphy. Sorry, wrong. No, not Charlie. I think I killed Mo. He's dead.
Happy Monday.
Charlie Murphy.
That's Coach Murphy, for whom Murphy Center is named, actually.
Oh, okay. So gotcha.
No, not the late. Well, yeah, but no.
Charles Murphy, his 704 winning percentage is on the list. So if I had a vote,
Bubber, Bubber Murphy.
Western Kentucky has a coach on here too, Jim Fay, or Fay. I assume it's Fay. Feix.
And that's why we love college sports.
Mo's like, heck if I know.
Or care.
Well, he's got, his winning percentage was only 649. So
there you go.
He's out. We're going to talk about this later because there are a lot of really impressive names on the FBS list and the FC and the divisional list. So we'll talk about who we think maybe should get in. And we'll talk to Chris Lee from Southeastern14.com when we come back, because Vanderbilt's playing at 3 o'clock. The SEC's got 5 teams. Well, technically, to answer your question from earlier, Mo, the answer is Auburn, because they're in like the 8th inning and they just got to win and they're up by 9. So but
there you go.
We'll talk about the teams who have the best chance to get through to the Supers and all that. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton. JP Plant pushing all the buttons. Man, what a weekend it was in college baseball. I will tell you, did you see my memory that I posted today? 20-12 and like 10 years ago. I'm like, well, I guess the more things change, the more they say the same. Offense galore in college baseball all weekend. And
yeah, all weekend. Because I mean, I noticed it yesterday, and I thought, okay, it's just maybe pitching getting thin at the back end of these regionals. But I mean, Vanderbilt scores 20 something on the second day, I think there were some 20 spots hung on Friday, so it wasn't just thin pitching.
Yeah, no, it was all weekend long and crazy as it was. But we're going to talk a little bit about it as we are joined by Southeastern 14's Chris Lee. Chris, welcome in. Thanks for taking some time with us. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon. It is a fun time of the year. I'm sitting here in my bonus room with two big screens of baseball coming on and watching scoreboards and everything. And it's that time of the year where there's a lot to keep up. And man, this NCAA tournament so far, if it's been anything, it has been eventful.
Man, it feels like this time of year, this weekend is crazier than the NCAA basketball tournament to me.
Oh, I think you're right. And it's you know what it is in the NCAA tournament in basketball. Like at some point, if a team is winning by 20 and there's 5 minutes left, you know the game is over, especially if the better team is winning. That's not the case in baseball this year. No lead seems to be safe, and I'll give you a for example, close to home. Watching Vandy last night, they got an 8-1 lead. Although I think, to be fair, 3 of those came in the bottom of the 6th when they had Thomas Schultz hot. And I'm thinking, okay, if they hang on and win this one, they got to win tomorrow. And he hadn't thrown Schultz yet. And he can give you 50 pitches. And maybe you use him to start a game because he hasn't done that yet. And then they throw him in the game in an 8-1 lead, and fans are going, well, wait a minute. You sure you wanted to do that? You had this guy and that guy. But you can understand it at the same time because you watch Oklahoma State yesterday, which is down 12-0 in the third and wins the game by 14 runs. And, what you think is unlikely, we've seen crazier things than that this year. And it just is. I don't know what else to say other than I've never seen anything like what we are seeing this weekend and this week as we get into Monday.
Is that a parity thing, Chris, or what is that? I mean, again, like you said, there's a 27 run swing, and that's not a series, that's a game.
Well, that has been the topic of conversation. You hear the guys on Squeeze Play, which, by the way, if you're not watching Squeeze Play, what are you doing? That's terrific. I'm sitting here watching it right now, and I'm watching 3 games at once on the same screen, and you can follow everything at once. Chris Burke and those guys in the studio are doing a tremendous job. I think it's a bunch of things, and excuse me because this is going to take a couple minutes. I think first of all, the bats are. Even when they're legal, it's gotten to the point, and I know that the balls have been subject to a lot of discussion. I've not heard anybody prove anything about the balls. That's something that people have grabbed onto, and maybe there's something there. I don't know. The home runs are flying out at a record number. Runs are being scored at a record number. I know the bats. I've been told, even when they're in the legal limits, and you assume a team is going to keep theirs close to specs because you don't want to have a bat that's not close to specs because then you're losing a competitive advantage to a guy in the dugout who's going to keep them on the borderline. But you've got that first of all. I think even the legal bats, you're seeing balls hit so hard that you're wondering, okay, do those need to be brought down a notch or two? I wrote an article back about 2 months ago, made some enemies with it probably, but I've established after talking to the NCAA that it's too easy to cheat. Everybody's on the honor system. I think I'm not accusing anybody directly of it, any player, any team. I think it's going on. The whispering of that has been going on since March, since before it became public. You can look out on the internet. You can find companies that will tamper with bats and advertise their services as making them undetectable. There's a lot of companies. I don't think those companies are in business because they're not doing business. So the question is, who are they doing it with? Is it Little League? Is it college? Is it high school? Is it all of it? I think right now given the penalties for cheating, I think that that's going on somewhere. I think you have pitching is down. You've had some of the best arms in the country have been hurt. You've got a lot of 23, 24-year-olds playing more than ever due to the COVID thing. I don't know that it's just one thing, but I think it's a lot of things. And I'll just tell you this. I don't have any information on this, but I would be very surprised if there's not a very long meeting of the minds of the NCAA in the offseason with the rules committee and the people that control the specs about the bats, because I just think that it's too easy. The bats to me seem too hot, and I don't know how you pitch anymore in college baseball. If you throw a strike and catch too much play, you make a good pitch and it gets hit out of the park. Heck, sometimes it gets hit out of the park the other way. I just don't think that's how baseball was meant to be played, and I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with the bats, because I think you used the word parity. I think the bats and the offensive conditions have brought a lot of things to the middle here.
And I wonder, Chris, because the way what TD Waterhouse or whatever the facility is in Omaha now, the way it has played, it has kind of has taken the home run out of play. What are your expectations once we get back there here in about another week or so?
Well, it has at times. I remember 2014. There were 2 or 3 balls hit out in the whole tournament. But last year I remember some of the first games, balls were getting out there more than had been before. It's going to bring home runs down some, but I mean, you saw the same thing in Hoover, right? For a couple of days, there's not a lot of runs scored, and then they get deeper into the weekend and pitching gets depleted and balls start flying out in what is considered a pitcher's park. I don't think it's 2014 levels where you're not going to see home runs. But I do think we saw maybe more balls get out last year than you would have thought going in. Is it going to bring some stuff back to the middle? Sure. It's not going to play like Lindsey Nelson Field or Lindsey Nelson Stadium, or Georgia or some of these other small ballparks you see in the SEC. But I don't think it's what it was, and I think that's going to be very interesting. I do think it's going to take some of the cheaper home runs away. But to go there thinking you're going to see whole games without a home run. That I don't know how realistic that's going to be this year.
And as you say that, and obviously Tennessee being the number 1 seed, a lot of folks talk about how they rely too much on the home run ball, but obviously Hoover, a much bigger ballpark, much like TD Ameritrade, gives they went down there and won a tournament with a lot of really good baseball teams in it. So no excuse for this Tennessee team if they can't get it done in Omaha.
Well, look, I think sometimes what makes a team really impressive is not when it's clicking on all cylinders and everything's going well, but like what happens if you take away some of the things that they do really well, then what? And you look at Tennessee this weekend. Yeah, the Campbell game, it won on home runs. They got 5 of them. I think most of those were later in the ball game. They win the game on the long ball. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they hit one against Georgia Tech, though. But what they did is one of the other things they do is they string together base hits. They have tough at-bats. They make competitive swings. They'll hit the ball the other way. They take a lot of walks. I mean, say what about the home runs you want. They're impressed. Their approach at the plate is really impressive. And I would rather pitch to a lineup, and I don't mean to single a team out, but like, say, Vanderbilt, where most of the year you had to worry about Bradfield, Keegan, and Jones, and those guys are just holy terrors to pitch to. But then you get 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's, ground out, strikeout, ground out, strikeout. And that was Vanderbilt's problem most. You get to Tennessee, there's no spot in the lineup where those guys don't hit. And that's just tough to pitch to with your ace. It's really tough to pitch to because your bullpen gets depleted. That's number 1. Number 2, I thought the most impressive thing about them this year was their pitching. And I think you look at their starting rotation, it was probably the best in the country. Well, let's look at what happened to them this weekend, okay? Dolander pitched. I think he's the most talented, healthy arm in the conference right now. He didn't pitch well. Beam has not pitched well lately, didn't pitch well again. They brought Burns out of the bullpen. He didn't have any control of his pitches. He didn't pitch well. He threw an inning. Well, what happened? Blade Tidwell has come back, and he started pitching like an ace again, although it's Alabama State, so let's not go crazy with it, but we know what that kid can do. You took away from them 3 guys who were in their rotation all year. None of them pitched well this weekend, and the reason they won that series is they went to their bullpen. Kirby Connell was really good. Will Mabry was even better, and I could argue that I don't know that they used McLaughlin all weekend. I don't know that they used Sechrist all weekend. I'd have to look it up. The point is, if those guys had failed, they probably had another guy waiting in the wings that could have gotten the job done. I just think that's what makes them awfully tough. Is you saw them win games in that regional against teams that could really hit the ball, and they did it with their main arms not being good. And I just think that's what makes them so impressive.
That's it. We talked about it with Joe Rexrod on Friday, Mo, how this team really hadn't seen a whole lot of adversity, and what would they do in the face of it? Well, we found out last night exactly what Tennessee would do in the face of adversity, and that's take it head on, even as the away team. And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. Chris Lee with Southeastern 14 with us here on Main Street Sports today. Chris, as you mentioned at the top, Vanderbilt getting ready for an all-or-nothing game out in Corvallis against the host Oregon State Beavers. And, again, I assume Oregon State will be the home team. I don't know.
They will be today, yes.
But
they were not last night.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about this one, Chris? I mean, they battled back from a opening round loss to San Diego all the way back to force the if necessary game. And, I know that there are no moral victories for this program at this point, but Oregon State's pitching's got to be a little bit depleted. Same for Vanderbilt. What do you think of the Commodores' chances here in about 30 minutes or so?
I think Vandy's got enough arms left to win. They're going to start Little today. He threw 33 pitches on Friday. Now, his starts have not gone well, but he is an exceptionally talented pitcher. There aren't 5 arms in the country more talented than him. He's still young. One day it's going to click. Maybe it's today, maybe it's next year, I don't know. But if the story coming out of this is Christian Little gives them 6 or 7 innings and they pull the upset today, I'm not shocked. We talked about Tennessee starting pitching and how it did not perform this week. And look across the country, I'm not sure many people did. You had a guy at a lot of teams that in a spot, what happened at A&M with Micah Dallas. I talked about Blade Tidwell, New Mexico State guy. You had it in spots, but Vanderbilt just got killed down the stretch in games. They had that awful stretch, losing 5 to 6 going to the tournament, and then you get to this thing, and let's be fair here, to compare apples to oranges and such. That park out at Oregon State is the dimensions aren't huge. But it's damp air. The ball didn't always carry out there. And I do think that helped Vanderbilt some, his environment. It didn't get out as quickly there as it did in other parks. But, I haven't fact-checked this, but I'm about 100% sure this is correct. Vanderbilt had 4 starters in this regional that went 6 innings or more. I don't know that you had any other team that had a starter that had more than 2 starters that went 6 innings. That is incredibly valuable in this environment. They didn't all pitch great, but they all pitched well enough. Again, runs are being scored like crazy all over the country. Being able to do that, being able to save Schultz still last night with a 7-run lead against a team that walks a lot. You throw a guy that's got really good control. What their pitching staff has done, and their lineup, my goodness, literally 8 of their 9 guys are hitting right now. The only guy who is not hitting is David Diaz, but he's given him pretty decent defense. They're playing their best ball of the season today. I'm not predicting they win. My guess is that water rises back to its level, and Oregon State was a 3 seed and playing at home, and it's certainly a program that knows how to win. My guess is Oregon State wins today, but if Vandy wins, I'm not at all surprised because of the way they have pitched and the way they have hit. And having a kid like Little fresh for today, they got Bryce Cunningham available. Carter Holston can maybe give them an inning, I'm sure. I think they've got enough arms to do it today. I don't know if they do, but I think they've got enough.
Chris Lee of Southeastern 14 joining us here on Main Street Sports today, and we would be remiss if we didn't ask, what were your thoughts about the reports regarding Kumar Rocker this weekend?
I saw that he threw okay. I don't think his line was great. You may have it in front of me and can tell me. I would have liked to known, and I haven't read up on. I think I just saw the box score. I would have liked to know what the composition of pitches were. It's like spring training, right? When a Greg Maddux or a Hall of Famer goes out there and gives up 7 runs in 3 innings, and you don't panic sometimes because he's working on a pitch or it's early. It's hard for me to make a judgment on that without seeing it. He's been guilty of kind of being a fastball slider guy. The command has been an issue. I think I really would have liked to have seen the start to see what pitches he was working on, how the command of his stuff was, and everything to make a judgment. But I'll say this: it's good to see him pitching again. I always thought the reports of the arm issues, based on what I'd heard, were overblown. Hopefully, maybe some of that puts it to rest, because I thought the kid, he's had a tough year, and he deserves better than what the Mets gave him.
Through 3+ innings, I didn't give him.
Four
Yeah,
innings.
I'm sorry.
It looks like 4, according to the CBS report.
No, 3. I'm looking at an AP article.
Okay.
Says he threw 3+ innings, struck out 6 no walks, 3 hits, 2 earned runs
On a home run.
Yeah, 60 pitches, 43 for strikes. Yeah, that home run was the last batter he faced.
Sat 95 to 97 and touched 99 with his fastball. And it appears, Chris, that it's fastball slider, and the slider was in the mid 80s. So.
Yeah, the thing that jumped off the page there was the ratio of balls to strikes.
That's fantastic.
That's what you need with him. If he does that, even if the changeup or the third pitch or whatever he needs isn't there, I think that's enough for him to be effective, at least to pitch in a big league bullpen for now, because you've seen how elite the stuff has been on a good day. That's really good to hear that apparently he had his control.
Pitching for Pete Incaviglia with the Tri-City Valley Cats in Troy, New York.
I would have been like, you could have gave me 100 guesses. I'd have never got Valley Cats.
No. Chris Lee, Southeastern 14, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Chris, as always, really appreciate your insight, and I'll talk to you later, but glad to know that you are recovering. So, and we'll leave that there.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure. And boy, there's a fun day of baseball ahead.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. Hey, when we come back here on Main Street Sports today, we've got 5 Southeastern Conference teams trying to advance to Super Regionals through the if necessary games. So come back with us, and
4 in the if necessary, 1 suspended. Again, Auburn has all but won the game. I don't even know why they're playing the dang thing, but
because you have to play 9 innings, I guess.
And apparently no lead is safe in the NCAA tournament this year. So there you go.
Awesome. Come back with us here on Main Street Sports today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TWSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
That reminds me of Low Rider. Low Rider.
Have you seen the video of the final dance scene in Dirty Dancing with the theme from the Muppet Show dubbed over it?
No, but that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. That would be worth searching out. That sounds incredible, Mo.
It really,
that really does.
Oh, that's great. We'll have to look that up for sure.
It won't take long to find.
That'll be halftime sometime this week for sure. All right, look, we're going to keep talking college baseball here. As Mo said, 5 teams looking for a chance at a super regional berth. Currently, Auburn and UCLA are suspended. I think they're going to play the final game tonight. I'm not sure. They said they were going to announce a time, but I never saw a time announced. So I have no idea what time they're going to play. But they are suspended currently. Auburn has to lose twice. They're currently winning 9-0.
So that game has not restarted yet.
It has
today?
not. No.
Oh, wow.
For whatever reason. Florida currently top of the 7th, ahead of Oklahoma 2-1.
And that's a winner take all, right?
That is also a winner take all.
And they are in a lightning delay, by the way.
Oh, of course they are.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They are in a lightning delay. 2-1 their score there.
Vanderbilt on the road, as we just talked about, against Oregon State. Ole Miss on the road at Arizona. LSU is – this is confusing.
LSU is playing Southern Miss in Hattiesburg.
And
right?
they already lost one.
Hattiesburg is the 1 seed. I think
Right.
they were undefeated. That's a winner take all, I believe, because LSU forced the if necessary game yesterday. I do believe.
Gotcha. So yeah, they both have one loss.
Yeah.
And the other team is Arkansas, who had to lose twice and did lose once last night. So
Now, who are they playing?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
They are also on the road. So
And that was
That's
a
right.
wild game last night. Wild game.
yeah, it was. But so that's where we're sitting currently. And Mo, you'd asked the question off the air, which of these SEC teams has the best chance of getting through? Obviously, Auburn has the best chance because they just got to get through a couple innings. Florida has to get through a couple of innings, well, a few, 3 innings, and they are ahead 2-1. But of the other 3, I think that is an interesting question because, again, they're all on the road. And I'm the least surprised that Arkansas is in this position.
Right.
I am far more surprised that Ole Miss has still got to get beat twice. They've not lost.
Yeah, and Ole Miss, I believe, was one of the last 4 in.
Right. I mean, you're
Period. So
And
So
this
for
is
them to still be playing on Monday.
and this is down in Coral Gables where a lot of folks had Miami penciled into the World Series because they were one of the last national seeds. I think
They were number 6.
well, yes, but they were there were some Arkansas was in there and LSU was in there to get a
host bid,
and their SEC tournament coupled with Miami's ACC tournament left the Hurricanes in a good spot, and now they're gone. It's hard to win in college baseball.
It is
in tournament play.
It
because
is.
you've got to have so many arms, and so honestly, I think I'm really curious to see where LSU and Arkansas go today. I think Ole Miss. I just can't see them losing twice. I'm really interested because I think Arkansas is probably the best of those 3 teams.
Yeah. Again, I don't disagree with that. I just wonder I wonder how Oregon State bounces back from an 8-1 loss last night. And again, the arms. I mean, you've got to have some arms to go this deep in a tournament like this. And as Chris Lee was saying, you feel like Vanderbilt does. I don't know if Oregon State does or not. And so
they should have been the number 1 seed, don't you know? Well, until they lost like 80% of their games in the final 2 weeks.
This tournament format really tests you from a pitching standpoint. Probably even more so than next weekend, the super regionals, because that's just a best of 3 situation. Everybody's been playing 3-game series throughout the regular season. They're built for that. They know how to handle that. This weekend that we are currently finishing up now is just so out of the ordinary for all these teams. I mean, you know what's coming, but dealing with it is the thing.
So I'm probably going to make some folks out there mad. Some folks are going to agree with
not
me.
you.
Some folks are going to agree with me. But this four team set double elim situation is the exact same thing that the TWSAA does for its state tournament. These teams go out and get enough pitchers and can't make it through. And we're asking single A high school teams to do it. I'm just saying that seems a little weird. Maybe we should rethink that, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway.
But we've been doing it. I mean, I don't know how else would you do it?
Anyway, but that. And just literally 64 teams, football style, 3-game series in 5 rounds, and let's go. That's the way I would do it. But my point is that if college teams, these college teams are struggling right now to get enough arms to play in 7 games, potentially.
I see what you're saying. I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. My thing is, what would you do?
I just told you.
What?
64 teams, 3-game series in 5.
64 teams.
Right?
We're talking college now, right?
I'm talking.
No, it's talking high school.
High school?
It's the football bracket. It's the football bracket. You've got 5 rounds, 3-game series, and all 5 rounds and be done.
Do you have enough time in
Sure.
the calendar to make that work?
Alabama does. They do it every year, and they end 2 weeks before Tennessee does. Of course, they start 2 weeks before too because it's a little warmer down there. But that's the way I would do it, just because Class A teams. I'm just saying.
Is
they
it just
probably
one
got
round
3 arms
every
tops.
weekend, Chris? Is that how they do it?
Yes,
just weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if need be.
correct.
So you're
And
gonna
next weekend.
end your regular season 6 weeks before the season ends.
No.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
If you're
'cause-
going to do it one weekend per round,
No, because you no longer have sectionals. You no longer have regionals. You just have district tournaments to get you to the 64. So the same week the region starts would be the same week that the state tournament would start.
I'm not necessarily following you, but that's okay.
That's a whole nother subject. I'm just saying, my point is that college teams are struggling with arms at this point, and it's obvious, as you said. I mean, we got teams scoring. What did they say Vanderbilt scored in 24 hours? Was it like 44 runs?
43?
43.
It was a bunch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of runs. So,
and they're not alone. I mean, there was Oklahoma State and Missouri State was 29-14 final in 9 innings.
I don't know how you watch that.
It was a 5+ hour game. It's hard.
I wouldn't
get to
have.
that point. Yeah.
I mean, and
unless you're a fan of OK State,
unless you're invested in one of those teams,
exactly.
and more than likely Oklahoma State, because if you were invested in Missouri State, you probably turned it off too. That's a tough watch. It really is.
So, yeah. But hey, Tennessee has punched its ticket. Texas A&M ticket punched.
How about Texas A&M and Aggies coach Jim Schlossnagle defeating his former team in the finals of that region?
Yeah, and TCU having been the home team in that, considering. So let's get into that, because JP, we had this conversation last night briefly, and I have why on earth, if you are the seeded team, are you not the home team?
It's a very valid question, and I think it's something that's raised every year. And I tried for at least the last hour I was watching last night to find some definitive answer to that question. What is the rule? How is the home team determined in regional finals? Because when you look at it, you can't determine. What I thought it was, as we were having our conversation, was that the host is the home team in the first game, and then winning into the second, they're the home team. And then if they get to the finals, then if they're undefeated, the team coming out of the losers bracket gets to be the home team for that first game. If they need the final game 7 of that regional series, then the host team gets to be home team in that elimination game. But that's not necessarily the case, because Arkansas last night, who was undefeated, and I thought it was the undefeated team in the region finals that was the visitors, but Arkansas was the undefeated team, and they were the home team on Oklahoma State's field.
So
and Oklahoma State came out of the losers bracket, and they were the visitors.
And
so I couldn't find a rhyme or reason.
And there's no reason for it to be this hard for the normal fan to understand.
It may be a coin flip.
I don't know what it is, but
because LSU was the home team against Southern Miss in round 2, where Southern Miss was the home team, or was playing in Hattiesburg,
the host team,
right? And
I
LSU
think after, I was just going to say, I did see some literature that mentioned about the first games, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. The higher seed is the home team.
Mm-hmm.
I think after that, it's a coin flip. And if you get to a third game, then, you just swap whatever the first 2 were, swap back. But that's the only thing that makes any sense to me, is that it's a coin flip.
I have a solution.
Higher seed hosts.
Not all the time. Here's why. Now, and this is the only way that I would be okay with the higher seed not being the home team. They lose. So, say Tennessee was the home team last night and they had lost. Then Georgia Tech, having beaten the home team and the higher seed, has earned the right to be the home team
in that final
game. Because being the 1 seed or being the seed at all, you have earned the right to be the home team or to choose home or away. That's up to you. You can choose if you want to be the away team. That's up to you. But you have earned the right to choose. If you get beat,
then you've lost that right.
You've lost the right to choose against that team, I think.
That's a theory. I'll give you that. But I'm also thinking that if you are the seeded team in a winner-take-all situation, you're going to deserve. you have earned over the long season, and you've earned from the selection committee that seed. And I think that there should be some advantages that go with that. And I don't think they should rely on a coin flip.
I absolutely don't disagree with you. The only way that I would do it is that way.
I think that
having been beaten, then you lose that opportunity maybe against that team. But that's it. That's the only way.
So you are the home team until
you get beat.
The biggest game of your season, which is that if necessary game.
Well, it's don't have to lose
Chris,
twice.
You should take care of business beforehand.
I don't know what you want.
Well, it's kind of, the question then becomes, where are the advantages? What advantages do you have? And I think that's the gray area, and I think that's the big question mark, because
no travel.
What Chris is talking about, the advantage is hosting, and you're the home team until you lose. What Mo's talking about in a traditional series, like like you see in the World Series,
you get 2 of 3 at home.
You have that extra odd number is you get home field advantage. So I guess that's the question: where does the advantage lie? And
I guess I just feel like if you're the home team, you're the home team.
That if my logo's on the field, by God, I'm hitting last. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm picking what uniform, and yeah, but most importantly, I'm batting last.
Well, and in SEC tournament, how is Tennessee not the home team in the championship game?
Now that's I totally
ridiculous.
agree with. I think in conference tournaments like that, the top seed, the higher seed, should always be the home team. Why?
They should always get the choice.
I mean, other than
who's going to
choose?
Who's going to choose to hit first?
There are.
Now, that said, I've seen it.
I've seen it. So I'm just saying, because you want to get out there and jump on them, but
you better jump on them.
That's like receiving instead of deferring to the second half. It's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I just think it's a little ridiculous that Tennessee hadn't lost and wasn't the home team. But again, like you said, JP, there's no rhyme or reason, because LSU and Southern Miss, Southern Miss, the host team, and LSU hit last and won by 1. So, scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th, by the way, to win that game. And then, or to tie the game, and then 1 in the bottom of the 10th to win it 7-6. So if you don't think it matters, ask Southern Miss.
Oh, Arkansas, Oklahoma State last night. I mean, similar fashion. Texas A&M, TCU.
Well, I mean, Georgia Tech, Tennessee.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It matters.
They had the winning run at the plate.
Exactly.
That's right.
In the bottom of the 9th.
Uh-huh.
So
anyway,
and to Chris Lee's point that no lead is safe in this.
Not in college baseball at any point.
So it matters. So it is a befuddling question to try to understand who's home and why.
Why?
And every year I ask that question, because I try to think, okay, well, this team is undefeated, therefore, maybe they're the visitor. But I literally think after that first day, after that first round, I think it's a coin flip. Now, if you play that team again, you flip-flop from where you were the previous time you played them. But the first time you play them after the first round, I think it's a coin flip. See, like last night, Vanderbilt was the home team against Oregon State, but Oregon State was the undefeated team on their home field.
Because Oregon State was going to be the home team today, and I guess they had to flip it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, nonetheless, let's take a break because we are way past time. We need to talk a little bit about the Braves and their first sweep of the year, so we'll do that on the other side. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, is back after this.
The city famous for its music is quiet now, but it's about to be overwhelmed by the symphony of speed. Nashville Superspeedway will be rocking from the pit to the grandstand. June 24th through 26th, the Ally 400 NASCAR Cup Series race weekend brings a mix of incredible racing and live entertainment. Tickets are going fast. So visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com today and join the full throttle fun.
All right, second half action coming up. Karen Booker, TREVECCA, new women's basketball coach, will be joining us. Also, our Braves conversation and more. We'll send you quickly back to the Hall of Famer Mo Patton and the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
What's going on? We are back for the second half. Hope you guys stuck through the first half. And if you missed any part of it, check out the podcast, Main Street Sports Today. First half podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, or you can watch it on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or MainStreetSportsToday.com. Mo, as you are wearing your Braves gear, coming off of a 4-game sweep, not just a 3-game, a 4-game sweep on the road at Colorado, first time in franchise history, the Braves have swept the Rockies at Coors Field.
And given what this team has done to this point, one, I never would have thought that they had never swept them at Coors before, but two, I would not have picked this team to be the one to do it.
No, especially not having to go through starters 2 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you got some really, really big innings out of all of your starters. And Max Fried's ability, by the way, just insane. Charlie Morton battling through everything that he has to battle through to make sure that your team has a chance to win. And the starting pitching has been battling all year. And then the bullpen is just, they're not picking them up.
Well, they haven't picked them up of late.
I'm talking about in this series.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically. I mean, there's no reason that those 2 games should have gone to extra innings, and the last one shouldn't have been that close. I realize we're at Coors Field, but it's not just in Colorado either.
No. But, 13-6 on Thursday, and then as JP mentioned, 3-1 on Friday, 6-2 on Saturday, and 8-7 yesterday. I mean, a lot of resilience being shown by this club on both sides over this weekend. And to go with that 6-0 win on getaway day at Arizona, the Braves are now on a 5-game winning streak.
It has happened.
Apparently. So they
did not believe it. I mean, when I saw that 3rd game, I thought, no, there's no way. And yet,
so
11-6 in those 17 straight games, no days off. 11-6.
You'll take that.
You'll take it.
Yeah. And so they come home and start a quick series against Tony Kemp and the Oakland Athletics tomorrow and Wednesday, followed by a 4-game series at home against Brian Reynolds and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
2 teams you got to take care of business here. You picked up 2 games on the Mets?
Did you? I've not even paid attention to that.
Only 8.5 back. They were 10.5 back before Arizona. So thank you, Dodgers.
It's my understanding that the Mets are currently in a particularly strenuous stretch of their schedule relative to the Braves right now. Oh, by the way, after they get done with Pittsburgh, they go to Washington for 3. So, again, a chance for them to really do some damage in terms of the NL East standings if they continue to play the way they're playing right now and iron some things out.
Yeah, New York on a West Coast run. They've got San Diego and the Angels before coming back home for Milwaukee.
Well, the Angels ain't.
No, but it's still a West Coast run, and that's the last 3 of the run. So you're probably a little tired, or you've finally gotten used to being out west, one or the other, before coming home against Milwaukee. And that jet lag is not easy, especially considering that last game against LA, the Angels, is Sunday night baseball. So you don't get an early getaway. You have to fly out on a red eye, and then you get 1 day off and play the next day. So yeah, it's a tough tough part of the schedule here for the Mets, and an easy, or I say easy, less strenuous
Yeah,
for the Braves. This is
they
your time.
drive Mercedes too.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh just swept the Dodgers in LA. So let's not forget that. They're 24 and 28. This is not last year's Pittsburgh Pirates throwing the ball all over the field like little leaguers. So, watch out. But you got to feel good about this stretch here if you're a Braves fan. Tell us this damn Braves history, Mo.
June 6, 2019, former Arkansas standout Dallas Keuchel signs a 1-year, $13 million deal with the Braves. Goes on to go 8-8 with a 3.75 ERA over 19 starts in his one season in Atlanta. And to answer Brady McAtamney's question, yes, I would take that right now.
Listen, the Braves need a fifth starter, and he ain't got nowhere to go. So
you ain't got.
He's got nothing to do.
Yep.
Bring the
you
beard
ain't got
back.
no job.
Bring the beard back to Atlanta, or bring the beard back to the Battery.
Yep, there we go. I mean,
And
if nothing else, we can throw him in there every fifth day until Mike Soroka gets
back. That's right.
Come on.
Gimme. Let's come back with conversation with new TREVECCA women's basketball coach Karen Booker. She will join us on the other side of the break. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. After this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant with you here on this Reaction Monday, as we have reacted a lot to some baseball over the last, almost the entire show.
It's that time of year.
Yes, it is. But it's also the time of year that sometimes if you need a coach, you got to go get a coach. And there's a lot of folks out there still looking for coaches, especially in the basketball area, especially locally here at the high school level. Mount Pleasant boys, girls, and Columbia Central boys all looking for coaches. But you know who's not looking for a coach, Mo?
TREVECCA
women's basketball team. And we have their brand new women's basketball coach, Karen Booker, on with us today. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you all having me. And Maurice, it's good to connect again.
It is good to connect, Coach. Congratulations. And tell us, where are you connecting with us from, first of all?
I am at I guess I can give them a shout out to Rowdy Hall in, what city is this? It's about 2 hours from Starkville, Mississippi. So,
2 hours from Starkville.
Yes, I'm about to have some good old fried pickles.
Ooh.
And something else before I leave here. So,
well, hey, we appreciate you stopping to visit with us. The point that I was getting at, you are still residing, I guess, in Starkville for the moment. You were working with Mississippi State's Friendship of Christian Athletes chapter. Is that right?
yeah, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And so, yes, I'm actually on my way back there, and I will just kind of, wrap up things. It's we work a lot with student athletes and the coaches and strengthening their faith and, just encouraging them through Bible studies and chapels. And, I've really made a lot of really good relationships, built a lot of good relationships. And so kind of going to say a lot of goodbyes. So it'll be a little bit bittersweet. But I appreciated my time over there, my year. So, but yes, I'm on my way back.
Franklin native,
for
Karen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, yeah, I'll be there for about a week.
Okay.
And I'm kind of wearing a couple of hats, so I'll be taking care of some things for TREVECCA as well, and just starting to get my ducks in a row a little bit.
There you go. There you go. Franklin native Karen Booker, newly named TREVECCA women's basketball coach. And as Mark Elliott said during the introductory conference last week, Coach, your faith has really guided you throughout your career, whether it be as a player, as a coach, as an official. And kind of all of those things together have melded to make you the right person at the right time for TREVECCA, it seems.
Yeah, it's just amazing how God works. And I do literally feel like I have come full circle. And I had a home built in 2000 in Nashville, so I will get to move back into my home. And it's been a lot of experiences with as a player, as a coach, the referee, and then with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I also got to coach a tour with Athletes in Action. I was their head coach for a fall tour. So it's just been amazing, the opportunities that God has allowed me to be a part of, and I'm excited about TREVECCA, and so we'll see where things go with that. So I think it'll go in a good direction.
Karen Booker here with us on Main Street Sports today. Coach, you've coached at a lot of different levels, and there's differences at each of those levels. What about TREVECCA and NCAA Division II draws you to this particular job outside of it being home?
Well, when I spoke to Mark, he mentioned that their priorities are Christian student athletes. And, so knowing those priorities really meant a lot to me. Christian values were always a big part of my life and everything I do. And, I was in Nashville, from 2000 up until 2018, and so I refereed a number of TREVECCA games. I was living in Nashville, but I was coaching with a semi-pro team part of the year. I got to be a volunteer assistant with the Detroit shop. So yeah, I have been at a lot of different levels. But the time while I was in TREVECCA, in Nashville, TREVECCA was, vying for NAIA national championships, and they were always a winning team. And so, I knew of TREVECCA, and just the way everything, the school's reputation, their winning tradition. So, I was just very ecstatic to, when I even saw that the position was open, and got really excited about the potential to be the head coach. And then I'm just so pleased with Mark's choice. So I feel like he made the best choice for the job too. I just feel like it's such a good fit for what I can bring to those young ladies, and hopefully get the team back to being having that winning tradition.
Karen Booker, the new head coach of the TREVECCA Lady Trojans program, with us here on Main Street Sports today. Karen, you said that you are wearing a few different hats at this moment. I would imagine one of those is recruiting.
Just with announcing the job and accepting it less than a week ago, definitely I'm working to get some things in order right away. There are high school coaches that I want to call immediately, just from that Nashville area. So I do want to definitely lay some groundwork for recruiting. And then once me and my staff get settled in a little bit, then we'll get out and, go to the high schools, or, once the summer recruiting kind of kicks into gear, we'll be out at tournaments. And so I think there'll be a lot of people kind of surprised to see me back out there, but they'll be very excited for me. So, we'll be looking forward to getting out there, hitting the road recruiting. So,
I'm not sure.
I am pleased that there is some talent. The cupboards are not bare, and so I'm looking forward to coaching these young ladies who are currently, on the team.
I'm not sure how surprised they're going to be, Coach. I think good news travels pretty fast, and I think the word is probably out there pretty well that Karen Booker may be coming to a gym near you and wearing some purple when she gets there. The one thing that Chris and I were talking about after your introductory press conference last week is the good thing about women's basketball in this area is you can recruit pretty well, and especially with gas prices these days, shouldn't have to drive very far.
Yes, thank goodness. So yeah, I'm excited to travel all the way to Murfreesboro from Nashville, or to Brentwood from Nashville, and Franklin from Nashville is not bad. Hendersonville area, Mount Juliet. There are just so many hot spots just right there around Nashville where they'll, it'll definitely be some good recruiting ground. And, I even had a coach from Ohio text me to congratulate me. And, she mentioned in the text, hey, I have some good players over here. So, that's one good thing about kind of being connected in a number of different places. Coaches are excited to try to help their players, and so I'm hoping that I can kind of tap into some of my connections, not only in Tennessee but different areas.
Absolutely. Karen Booker, new TREVECCA women's basketball coach, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Coach, really appreciate you coming on with us, and
we're going to let you get to those fried pickles.
There you go.
Hey, can I mention we are going to have camps. So one thing I'm working on is trying to get those camps on the website. So we'll have camps for little kids 3rd grade through 8th, the latter part of June, and also I think the middle part of July. And we'll also do a shooting camp for all ages. And so if people can just kind of keep their eyes on the website, I would say before the end of the week, hopefully those dates will be up and people can sign up for camp.
Fantastic.
That'll be fantastic. And that website is tnutrojans.com. So be sure and check that out as you pull it up. The lead picture is the same picture as we've got up on our screen. It's the smiling face of one Karen Booker, who has taken over the Lady Trojans women's basketball program. So again, Karen, thanks for taking some time with us, and look forward to talking to you again here soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
All righty.
Have a great day.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see more of her. I fully expect that that program will be turned around quickly.
Again, as we were saying the other day, I mean, everything she brings to the party. Former SEC player, as JP said, former All-American, as a player, and all of her background. Really, as you digest all of that, it just makes it obvious why she was, Mark Elliott's pick for that spot.
Yeah, no question. Fantastic. And again, looking forward to much more out of her. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, College Football Hall of Fame. Told you about that earlier. We will finish up that conversation next on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Stick around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TWSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Final segment of this Reaction Monday. Reacting now to some football. We went from baseball to basketball to football.
Hey, let's cover it all.
We cover everything from preps to pros and everything in between, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you, JP.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. He's listening.
He is, in fact. As I was looking through the National Football Foundation's newsletter for summer of 2022, the 2023 College Football Hall of Fame ballot edition, chairman of the College Football Hall of Fame, National Football Foundation is Archie Manning, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out there. 80 names on this list, Mo. And as I go down them, and they're in alphabetical order, I counted 27, and those are just the people I've heard of that I thought should get in. You can only vote for 12. If you
choose wisely.
Now, as I look through this list, obviously there are some names on here who are first ballot. This is their first time on the ballot. And there are very few people who deserve to be first ballot Hall of Famers in anything.
I don't get that. I mean, I don't get that entire concept because, I mean, what happens from the first time you're on the ballot to the second time you're on the ballot? That changes your.
Only 12 of 27 is deserving people.
Well, but I mean,
this is my point.
I mean, I get that, you know, there's 27 deserving people and only 12 you can vote for. I get that. But the whole first ballot Hall of Famer versus I'm not going to vote for this person. I mean, the concept, you can only vote for 12. I get. I'm not going to vote.
If you're a Hall of Famer now, you're a Hall of Famer.
In 5 years.
In 5 years, you're a Hall of Famer anytime.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Or if you're a Hall of Famer in 5 years, you're a Hall of Famer now.
Sure.
More to the point. So, but, and that's tough. It's a tough field and it shouldn't be easy to get into a Hall of Fame.
There are two people who this is their first time on the ballot that I'm aware of who absolutely deserve to be in. Tim Tebow and Reggie Bush.
In a college football Hall of Fame? Yeah.
There's no question.
Now, obviously, Bush is going to get dinged.
Why?
Well, there are people who are not going to vote for him because of the situation with him getting improper inducements. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's going to happen.
Sure. But in the world of NIL and
but he wasn't in that world.
I understand. But the fact that it wouldn't have mattered if he played where he played or what he got for playing there, he was still going to be Reggie Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And on the field,
yeah,
he was Reggie Bush regardless. I mean,
and
I get that. I'm just telling you, he's going to get dinged.
Sure. But he shouldn't. That's my point.
No.
But I'm voting for those two off the top.
Okay.
Now there are some names on here who've probably been on here for a while that, you know, I'm a little surprised by. One of them being, and maybe I'm a little biased because of how much of an impact he played in a lot of things, including the Southeastern Conference Championship game and all of that. But Antonio Langham, I mean, to me, that guy seems like a Hall of Famer.
I feel like Antonio Langham doesn't have the national notoriety that he does in this area.
And then that's crazy to me because if not for him,
the
SEC championship game may not be a thing.
Mm-hmm. I get that. But again, I just feel like that's more a lack of national exposure on his part, you know, not necessarily anybody's fault. Just kind of the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Eric Rhett is a Hall of Famer. And the fact that he's not in is a little surprising to me. Peter Warwick. Now, you can say what you want to about Peter Warwick, but that dude was he was a problem. And again, I just look at this list
Not
and I
in
go,
Glendale, Arizona.
he wasn't for one night anyway. Peerless Price, much more of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you look at this list and you go, how is Kajana Carter not in the Hall of Fame? Are people using their pro careers against them? Because Kajana Carter was the man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just now looking at the list of candidates, and a couple of names that jump out at me right off the top, and literally they're at the top of the second column, back to back. Ray Lewis and Todd Light.
Well, I mean, Ryan Leaf
and Marshawn Lynch.
Well, Lynch is a Hall of Famer for nothing else than driving the golf cart. I mean, if he doesn't get in for anything else, like that should just be his bust, is him driving like a little steering wheel, like smiling.
Julius Peppers.
But yeah, I mean, there are names on here where
you were saying off the air, and like I said, having taken a look at this thing, I have to agree with you. I don't know how you just vote for 12, man. It's tough because
it's insane.
Warwick Dunn is on this list.
Yeah.
Willie Galt, and Larry Sievers are both
Sievers
on this list. Toby Gerhardt, who was a problem at Stanford during his career. Dewey Selman. Michael Stonebreaker.
Marvin Harrison. Now, I don't know how good Marvin Harrison was as a collegiate player, but he turned out to be a pretty darn good pro.
He was a pretty bad boy at Syracuse. I mean, Stonebreaker, and I'm certainly no Notre Dame apologist, but I've mentioned two guys from South Bend who it's shocking that they're not already in. D'Angelo Williams, what a career he had at Memphis.
How about this one? Is Janikowski a Hall of Famer?
He kind of revolutionized the kicking game at the collegiate level.
He's a first-round draft pick.
Right.
Now, granted, it's the Raiders, but he's a first-round draft pick.
That's tough. I mean, shoot.
And then you go down this list, and then you hit the coaches, and you can vote for two coaches, and there are only 9 to choose from. So let's go ahead. Let's go through these coaches' names because I'm really curious about that. Larry Blakeney, who was fantastic at Troy, won a couple national championships. Jim Carlin, Pete Cawthorn Sr. From Texas Tech, and the early, part of the 20th century there, from 23 to 40. Larry Coker, Ralph Friedgen of Maryland fame, Paul Johnson. Again, I would love to see him enshrined in Atlanta. That would just be phenomenal. Mark Richt, Darrell Rogers, and Frank Solich. There's maybe one name on this list that I think is a potential Hall of Famer.
Which one? Because I'm gonna tell you,
it's probably Paul Johnson.
Larry Coker winning a national championship in his first year at Miami and starting the program at UTSA. Yeah, kind of jumps out to me a little bit.
Train Monkey could have won a national championship with that team. Well, Ed Reed.
A lot of people say that about a lot of places. You still got to do it, though.
I guess, but I don't know.
I see what you're saying. He had a lot of talent at his disposal. We have seen people mess those situations up.
Well, that's true.
So,
that's true.
He didn't, and he deserves a little credit for it.
Paul Johnson is about the only one, and I know that sounds crazy, but he did win a couple of national championships in the divisional area and was really good at Navy before pretty well crapping out at Georgia Tech. And the fact that he still has a 66% winning percentage after crapping out at Georgia Tech is pretty impressive.
He's still Paul Johnson. There are at least 3 Middle Tennessee State players on the divisional player candidate list.
voters are allowed to vote for 4. This is from the Football Championship Subdivision, NCAA Division II, Division III, and NAIA. Friend of the show, Joe Campbell, is on this list, as is
Don
Griffin, who played at Middle at the same time I was a student over there. We probably said hey once or twice. And Steve McAdoo, a offensive lineman who went on and played in the CFL, and I think he's coaching.
One of the names that jumps out at me, speaking, and you said that, Al Lucas out of Troy, defensive lineman who played in the Arena Football League and passed away on the field for the Los Angeles Avengers.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But Al Lucas, there's the whole thing about Al in the Arena Football League. So that name kind of jumped out at me too. But that's about it. I mean, the coaches are a lot easier to pick than the players, Mo. The coaches are easier to pick than the players. No question. So appreciate you guys.
Roy Kramer is on the coaches list for divisional.
Really?
Yeah.
He should be in the Hall of Fame, but maybe not for coaching.
Certainly for something.
Yeah, just put him in and just contributor, I guess. I mean,
or just put him in.
Just put him in. And, yeah, dude. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Vanderbilt is underway. No idea what the score is because I haven't been paying attention.
That's
JP,
okay,
I'm sure
JP.
JP
I'll
has.
tell you, I'm paying attention. It is 1-0 Oregon State in the top of the second. A solo shot in the bottom of the first for Oregon State.
That's not what we wanted to hear.
Auburn finished it off 11-4 over UCLA. Florida still delayed. LSU up 3-1 on Southern Miss. Ole Miss, Arizona delayed down in Coral Gables. And Arkansas, Oklahoma State tonight at 6 o'clock on ESPN2. So there you go. A lot of college baseball, still some college softball going on right now. And Jocelyn Allo just hit an absolute moonshot.
No, that never happened.
Can't imagine that. They're up 7-0 in the 4th inning on UCLA. They were just toying with the Bruins in that first one.
They're trying to 8-run rule UCLA and get this thing over with. Tomorrow's show, speaking of Women's College World Series, we will be visiting with Marin Angus Combs, our college softball specialist, analyst, aficionado. And as we always do on Tuesdays, the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, who I'm sure will have more to say about this Hall of Fame ballot.
That's exactly what we'll talk to him about. So, yeah, plenty to get to. Going to be a lot of fun. Come back with us again, 2 o'clock. If you missed any part of the show, all of the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts, all of those places, and MainStreetSportsToday.com. Find it all there. So appreciate you guys. For JP down in the Berg and Mo, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.